My name's JL, and this is a video response to Myles' video about Occupy Wall Street. There is currently an Occupy protest going on in Denver, Colorado, and compared to the ones going on in Boston and New York, it's relatively small. It hasn't been considered newsworthy, whatever that means, until the last couple days, when Governor Hickenlooper has been trying to crack down on these protests. He hopes his model will become a national model, so that other cities can use this way of curbing the protests to try and reduce the impact of these demonstrations. The news media and politicians have repeatedly made allusions to the First Amendment. Governor Hickenlooper says, "However fully we support the right to free speech, we don't see that as a cue for any group to camp out in any park." While freedom of speech is certainly an important part of the First Amendment, I think that the news media has been honing in on the wrong parts. There are 5 rights listed in the First Amendment. In full, it reads, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." While the right to free speech is certainly important, I think the Occupy Wall Street movement is also using 2 other important First Amendment rights, namely the right to peaceably assemble and the right to petition the government. Hickenlooper's statement about any groups camping in any parks seems questionable to me, not because of freedom of speech, but because it seems in direct violation of the idea of the right to peaceably assemble. 24 were arrested in Denver after reportedly refusing orders to vacate the premises, according to the New York Times. But according to Fox 31 Denver, on their website, they say that the Colorado State Patrol said that none of the people who were arrested were officially linked to the Occupy Denver movement. The Colorado State Patrol says that they were a small splinter group. I don't personally know any of the people who were arrested, but I will provide a link below to the names of all the people who were arrested. According to what I've found online, the park where the protesters were assembled is closed indefinitely. I've been looking around trying to figure out what that means, and I haven't come up with much. Some sources say that the park will be open for sanctioned events over the weekend, and some sources just don't mention when it will be open to the public at all. Concerning the arrests, police say that they were only responding to the most violent and aggressive of the people in the protest movement. However, many tweets that have come out in the last 24 hours under the hashtag Occupy Denver say that even legal campsites in public property and on sidewalks have been destroyed, and the police have confiscated or destroyed medical supplies, tents, blankets, and even books. The Denver Post says that the dump trucks that showed up were only meant to dispose of abandoned tents and trash that the protesters left behind when they were forced to vacate the premises. So far, the conventional news media has not made any reference to destroyed or confiscated medical supplies, books, or personal items. You might have noticed a few numbers popping up on the screen while I'm talking. I'm providing links below to all of the materials that I've used so far, corresponding to the numbers that have popped up on the screen. I want to take a little bit of time to talk about the New York Times article. The article is titled, "Police Clear Camp of Offshoot Demonstrators in Denver," and it plays at neutrality. The only protester quoted in the entire article, though, named Robert Chase, is self-described as a full-time cannabis activist. I have a hard time believing that this is the only protester that they talked to, and the fact that they included that self-description of being a full-time cannabis activist is a subtle way of trying to alienate and discredit the people in the movement. Myles, in your video, you encouraged us to turn off our televisions and ignore conventional news media when it comes to the issue of the Occupy protests. But I want to amend your plea. Read your newspapers, watch your television programs, listen to what they say and to how they say it. Evaluate what's going on, because if we don't listen to what they say, we can neither applaud them when they get it right, nor can we call them when they're bullshitting us. There's an assembly happening downtown at noon, so I hope to get down there a little early and try and capture some of what's going on, and I want to talk to some of the people there. So I hope to have a video up about what was going on at the protest sometime around early evening tomorrow Mountain Standard Time. Until then, stay safe and stay aware.